Okay, let's talk about magnetic field. Magnetic field is very much like all the other types of force field, like electric field, gravitational field, etc. So it is a force field because it doesn't require a physical contact between the agents involved. For a magnet to attract or repel something else, it doesn't need to come in contact with that thing in order to be able to, have that kind of effect. So how do we define magnetic field? We say magnetic field is the region of space. Magnetic field is the region or space around a magnet in which a magnetic force can be felt. So we define magnetic field as that region or space around a magnet in which a magnetic force can be felt. Yes. So which means there are areas around the magnet in which the magnetic force cannot be felt. The magnetic force due to that magnet cannot be felt. You see. So those areas are not considered to be part of the magnetic field of that magnet. But as soon as we have an area in which a magnetic force can be felt, then we have a magnetic field in that area. So let's talk about types of magnet. Types of magnet. Now there are two types of magnet. The first one is temporary magnet, and then the second one is permanent magnet. So temporary magnet and permanent magnet are the two types of magnets we have. And we're going to be talking about that in detail as we go on. So we have poles of a magnet, yes. Poles of a magnet or magnetic field. Poles of magnetic field. So just like in electric field, or electric charges, there are two charges, right? There's a positive charge and a negative charge. So also in magnetic field we have two poles. So we say there are two poles in a magnetic field. In a magnetic field or of a magnet. Two poles of a magnet or magnetic field. So the first one is the North Pole. So here we have North Pole is the first one, and the second one is the South Pole. Yes. So these are the two poles of a magnet. You have the North Pole and the South Pole. Now the North Pole is analogous to the positive charge or positive terminal in electric field, while the South Pole is analogous to the negative charge or terminal in the electric field. Of course, why that is so, I'm going to be showing you as time goes on. You see. So the next thing we have to talk about is magnetic lines of force. So what are magnetic lines of force? We say magnetic lines of force are those lines, imaginary lines, around or drawn around the magnet. The direction of which at any point gives the direction a north pole would go when placed in the field. So again, we define magnetic lines of force. We said magnetic lines of force are those imaginary. Yes, they're imaginary. They're not real. We just made them up so we can map out the area in which a magnetic force can be detected. So we say magnetic lines of force are those imaginary lines drawn around the magnet, the direction of which at any point gives the direction a north pole would go when placed in that point. You see, and I'm going to be explaining this further in our next video. But first of all, let's do a recap. This is the introduction into the topic. So here we said magnetic field. Magnetic field is the region or space around the magnet in which a magnetic force can be detected or felt. See, then we have types of magnet. We have one temporary magnet and permanent magnet. So these are the two types of magnet. We're going to be talking more about them as we go on. Now, poles of a magnet. There are two poles in a magnet. The first one is the north pole, the second one is the south pole. And then the north pole is analogous to the positive charge in electric field, and the south pole is analogous to the negative charge in electric field. I'm going to be explaining that as we go on in the next video. So we now talk about we talked about magnetic lines of force. So what is a magnetic line of force? What are magnetic lines of force? We said magnetic lines of force are imaginary lines drawn around the magnet, the direction of which at any point gives the direction a north pole would go when placed in that field. So if there's any question, you can ask. See you in the next video.